Once, a long time ago, there was a kind woman. Her name was Hannah. Hannah was very sad. She was sad because she did not have any children. She wanted a baby more than anything in the whole world. Every day she thought about having a little boy or a little girl to love. Her heart felt heavy, like a big stone, because her arms were empty. She longed to sing lullabies and tell stories to her very own child. This deep wish made her cry sometimes, but she never stopped hoping. One day Hannah went to God's special house. It was called the temple. She went there to pray. Hannah prayed very, very hard. She talked to God from her heart. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she spoke. She told God how much she wanted a son. "Oh Lord," she whispered, "please, please look at my sadness. Please remember me. If you give me a son, I will give him back to you. He will serve you all the days of his life." She prayed quietly, but her prayer was big and full of love. Eli, the old priest in the temple, saw Hannah. He saw her lips moving, but he did not hear her words. He thought she might be unwell, but Hannah told him about her sad heart. She told him she was pouring out her soul to God. Eli listened, then he said, "Go in peace. May God give you what you have asked for." Hannah felt a little lighter. She felt a little bit of hope spark inside her, like a tiny warm candle flame in the darkness. God heard Hannah's prayer. God knew her heart, and God answered her. Soon Hannah had a baby boy. She was so happy. Her heart was full of joy, like a cup overflowing with sweet water. She named her new baby Samuel. Samuel means God has heard. Every time she said his name, she remembered God's kindness. She remembered her special promise to God. Samuel was a miracle baby, a gift from God, and a testament to a mother's faithful prayer. He was loved very, very much. Hannah loved Samuel very much. She took good care of him when he was a little baby. She sang him songs and told him stories about God. But Hannah remembered her promise. She had promised God that Samuel would serve him. So when Samuel was a little older, Hannah knew it was time. It was a hard thing to do, to take her dear son to live somewhere else. But a promise to God is very important. She prepared Samuel for his new life, telling him about God's special house. Hannah took Samuel to the temple. This was God's special house where Eli the priest lived and worked. She brought Samuel to Eli. She said, "I am the woman who prayed here for this child. God answered my prayer. Now I am giving him to the Lord. He will serve the Lord all his life." Eli remembered her. He knew this was a very special boy. Hannah must have felt sad to leave him, but she also felt peaceful because she was doing what she promised God. So little Samuel began to live in the temple. He lived there with old Eli. Samuel wore a special linen robe, just like a little priest. He helped Eli in God's house. Maybe he helped light the lamps. Maybe he helped keep the temple tidy. He learned many things about God. He learned how to worship God. He learned the special songs and prayers. He was growing up close to God every single day in the very place where people came to meet with God. Samuel was a good boy. He listened to Eli. He learned quickly. Even though he was young, he was learning to serve God. The temple was his home, and the things of God were his daily life. He probably missed his mother, Hannah, very much, but Hannah would come to visit him every year. She would bring him a new little robe that she had made with her own loving hands. Samuel was growing not just in size, but in his love for God and his understanding of God's ways. One night, Samuel was sleeping in the temple. He was sleeping near the Ark of God. The Ark of God was a very holy box where God's presence was especially felt. Eli, the old priest, was sleeping in his own room. It was very quiet and very dark in the temple. The lamp of God was still burning softly. Suddenly Samuel heard a voice. "Samuel, Samuel!" it called. Samuel woke up quickly. He thought it must be Eli calling him. Samuel jumped out of bed. He ran to Eli's room. "Here I am," Samuel said. "You called me." But Eli said, "I did not call you, my son. Go back and lie down." So Samuel went back to his bed. Soon he heard the voice again. "Samuel," it called. Again Samuel got up. He ran to Eli. "Here I am," he said. "You called me." But Eli said again, I did not call you, my son. Go back and lie down." This happened a third time. The voice called, "Samuel," and Samuel went to Eli. This time Eli understood. Eli was old and wise. He knew that it was not him calling Samuel. He realized it must be God calling the little boy. So Eli told Samuel what to do. "Go and lie down," Eli said. "If the voice calls you again, you must say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Eli knew that God wanted to speak directly to Samuel. This was a very important moment for the young boy, a sign that God had a special plan for his life. Samuel went back to his bed. He lay down and waited. Soon the Lord came and stood there. He called just as before, "Samuel, Samuel?" This time Samuel knew what to say. He answered, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." And God spoke to Samuel that night. God told Samuel important things. Samuel listened very carefully to every word God said. He was a young boy, but he was ready to hear from God. He was ready to obey. As Samuel grew older, he continued to listen to God. God spoke to him many times, and Samuel always listened. He learned that listening to God was the most important thing he could do. The Lord was with Samuel as he grew up, and everyone in Israel from one end of the land to the other came to know that Samuel was a true prophet of the Lord. They saw that God's words spoken through Samuel always came true. He was a messenger for God. Samuel served God faithfully all his life. He told the people what God wanted them to know. Sometimes the messages were about things they needed to change. Sometimes they were words of comfort or guidance. Samuel was always honest. He spoke God's words with courage. Even when it was difficult, he helped the people of Israel to remember God and to follow God's ways. He was a leader, a judge, and a prophet, all because he first learned to listen to that voice in the night. Samuel showed everyone how to live a life that pleased God. He anointed the first kings of Israel, Saul and then David, guiding them according to God's instructions. He never stopped praying for the people. He never stopped teaching them. His whole life was about serving God and serving others. From a little boy helping Eli in the temple to a respected prophet leading a nation, Samuel's heart was always turned towards God. He was a shining example of faithfulness. The story of Samuel teaches us something very special. It teaches us that God can speak to anyone, even young children. We need to learn to listen for God's voice, just like Samuel did. We can listen when we pray, when we read God's words, or when wise people guide us. And when we hear God, we should be ready to say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." Serving God and being kind to others is important. It brings joy to us and blessings to the world around us, showing God's love through our actions every day.